Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I'm going to have one of my big, huge, epic mail days, and it's the first mail day of 2023. Now, I mentioned in my video I did on my collecting goals for 2023 that, I want to start really focusing on my Willie Mays and Hank Aaron collections. So today I have my first major PC pickup for the Hank Aaron collection. And I mentioned in the video that I need just a 61 Topps Hank Aaron to finish out my 60 set. That's because I picked up this card, probably one of my favorite Hank Aaron cards of the 60s, at least one of them. Here you go. This is a pretty huge card for me. Here we go, 62 Topps, PSA 7.5, Hank Aaron. The card itself is very nice. Very, very nice for the grade. In all honesty, I paid a little bit more than the card has sold for in the past. I really feel like this particular card is worth it. It's a 7.5. So it's that weird mid-grade card, or half-grade card that sometimes is hard for people to really understand how to price. I feel like this card presents like an 8, looks like an 8. It just doesn't cost the same as an 8, so I'm okay with it. But this ticks off a huge box, a huge hole in my Hank Aaron collection. And it's one of the nicest Hank Aaron cards of the 60s. Plus, 62 Topps in general are just really tough to find in any kind of condition like this. So there we go. First PC pickup of the year for my Hank Aaron collection. 62 Topps, Hank Aaron 7.5. And we're going to start off with a lot of PC pickups. So I'm very excited of this mail. This is really the mail day that I thought I'd have back in December. Some of these cards were delayed because of the eBay authentication process. So I thought I'd have some of them in time for that video, but they came in 23. So next up are two cards I purchased at the same time. And they're cards I've never owned before. And this card I've never owned before. I've never had a 65 O-Pg Clemente in any grade. So this is, a beautiful card. It definitely, you can see the back. You can see printed in Canada right there. So I've never had this card in any grade. So I'm really excited to actually put this into the collection because one of the things I thought about doing, and obviously I am doing it, is completing my base O-Pg set. So I've got all the Topps base Clemente cards. Now I want to fill in all the O-Pg cards. And to me, this is definitely a highlight for me because this is the first year that O-Pg cards were made to parallel the Topps set. So there's no 64 O-Pg. It starts in 65. So this is his first O-Pg card. Now, to me, this card has beautiful color. It's a little off center, but this card presents really well. It is an older graded card. I just really, really love it. When I saw it, I really had to have it. This was definitely an impulse buy. When I saw the card, I had a cardboard lust, and it was sold with a lot of other O-Pg Clemente cards. So that means I picked up another O-Pg Clemente. Here we go, the 72. Now, I own this card in an 80C. So this was an upgrade for me in the condition of the card. The thing about this card that I really loved is it's perfectly centered. Then you can see, printed in Canada, that different color back from other 72s. And again, anytime you see this sticker, you can see it went through eBay authentication. And that, again, delayed it. So this card theoretically would have been a December purchase that didn't come in time. So it came in 23. But here we go. 72 O-Pg. Roberto Clemente PSA 7. So again, I just love having, these O-Pg cards in the collection now because honestly, I did the video where I showed how those cards are basically I think I said 1/10 of the volume of availability as the Topps counterpart. So they're 10 times rarer than the Topps cards if you look at the pop count for these cards across the board. So, but very cool. So 3 really big PC cards right off the bat. Next up is just some vintage cards I picked up along the way. First up is a T205 Hugh Duffy, 2.5. Again, I don't care about the grades on these pre-war cards, meaning that if the card presents well, looks good, I don't care if it's a 2, 3, 4, or 5, just as long as it looks nice. And I feel like this card does look nice. It's got a sovereign back. And in the T205 set, the actual backs don't matter as much as the T206 set, for the most part. And a Hugh Duffy. And so, just a nice card. And again, when I go to card shows, I like having pre-war cards as well as modern vintage cards, things like that. So diversification. Next, Jim Bottomley. Again, nice PSA 4. Anytime you can collect pre-war Hall of Famers in any grade, really, you should do it. As a general rule of thumb. Doesn't take a genius to figure that out, but to me, this is what I love about having diversified collection, where I collect Griffey and pirate cards and pre-war cards, is that you get a real, appreciation for how nice design and these pre-war cards are, in terms of, they're just beautiful on their own as kind of pieces of art, compared to some of the modern cards, which have kind of like this different, like shine and the refractor. So it's like two different styles. It's like two different artists that you're appreciating. Pre-war cards just hit differently than modern cards. And so it's an ability to appreciate the differences in those two styles. So there we go. PSA 4, 33 Gaudy Jim Bottomley. Next up is a card I picked up just because I like the card. A PSA 6, 54 Bowman Larry Doby. Larry Doby was the first African American to play in the American League. So he kind of gets a little bit less attention than Jackie Robinson for sure. But over the last few years, he's gotten more appreciation. The American League honors him, I think, right now. So there is, more and more, thought around Larry Doby. So I like just having more of his cards. I think they're, underappreciated, undervalued. Next up is a 64 Frank Robinson, PSA 7. Again, I like having a lot. I already own this card in an 8, and I just like having multiple copies. When I go to card shows, this card actually has a very nice back. What I mean is that it's very nice in color, very bright color. Sometimes these backs can be a faded orange. So this one is a very interesting color of orange. It's almost red. So it's a little bit of a different color than some 64. So there you go. 64 Frank Robinson, PSA 7. Next up is a 66 Joe Torre, PSA 8. So the Joe Torre, I've said in maybe another video that I just don't have a lot of his cards. He's in the Hall of Fame now. So I've been going back and picking up, Joe Torre rookie card, or not rookie cards, but just Joe Torre cards to fill in the different years of his. 66 is one of those really tough years for a lot of players. So I always like having Hall of Famers from this year just because they're a little bit tougher to find. So not the prettiest photo, but a very nice card from a grading perspective. Next up is a card excited to get because I have a lot of 71 Opeachis now. I have the Nolan Ryan. So getting the Johnny Bench is definitely key for me. Now, and I've got the Pete Rose as well. Now this one obviously has the Opeachy rough cut. So the big thing on here is, do I want to cross this over or keep it in the holder? So I think for now I'm a little, I just went through that SGC to PSA crossover video. And honestly, I feel like I will maybe focus on other cards to grade for PSA for a while versus SGC crossovers. But this would be definitely one of the big cards I would send in if I would cross over some cards from SGC to PSA. Because this card is a big card, even if it crosses straight to a 7. So, and then you can see the very cool 71 Topps back. One of the things I appreciate most about 71 Topps is this bright yellow back with that middle photo. Just really, really, really cool back compared to the regular 71 back. Next up is more Opeachy. So this has been a very Opeachy heavy video. 72 O-Pee-Chee playoff champion. So this is the Pirates winning the National League playoff series. I have the full set of this top. So I have the Topps team set plus all of the World Series of playoff cards. And I'm trying to emulate that again in O-Pee-Chee cards as well. So this is me picking up one of the cards. It's an 8OC, but these cards are hard to find. And there's a 9OC. So this is World Series game number 6. It's Manny Sanguillen getting, someone sliding underneath him. He's jumping over the runner. So it's kind of a cool action photo. You don't see a lot of cool action photos on cards in the 70s very often. I think around this time was they started doing more action type photos, but this was cool to see a card like this in a World Series. So it's a 9OC, but definitely fits into the collection because the O-Pee-Chee side of it, off-center cards, is very common. Now, next up, another PC card alert. The only reason why I didn't lead off of or add this in the first grouping is because I already own this card in an SGC holder, same grade, but I did pick up this card, which is a 75 Hank Aaron. Now, this card, show you a little bit closer up on it, is very nice for the grade. You can see it has very little issues. It is one of those cards that when I got it in hand, I was super pumped because, again, this card can be very ugly. It can be off center. It can be chipped and still get a grade sometimes I don't agree with. This one I feel like is definitely let's say well within the 8 guidelines. It's a card that to me looks closer to a 9 than an 8, which is what you want when you buy cards like this. So I'm very happy. Now, the only thing about this card that's always been a little ugly is that it's I think the last card in the set, but it's the ugly airbrushing of the hat. So, not great there. And you can see, again, another eBay delay on getting this card, but you can see maybe the sticker is there. Yeah, you can't see the home run total. I was going to show you that home run total, but it's covered with that little sticker there. So, but there it is, 75. And this is not his last card. So, his 76 would have the final home run total. But there you go, 75 Hank Aaron PSA 8. So now I have 2 copies of this card. So now I can take one card with me, or maybe I cross that one over to PSA. Who knows what I'll do, but I have 2 copies now, and they're both very nice copies. Last but not least is probably my 4th or 5th copy of this card, which is the 78 Tom Seaver. I have this card in multiple grades, so I just found it was very cheap, and I just picked up another version of it. And again, this card I might just end up giving away on the channel as a free giveaway because I've got, again, multiple copies of it. But I felt like it was just too good of a deal to pass up. Next up on baseball, I'm going to do some, more inserts or modern cards. Again, I collect, I love the 90s refractor. So this came up and I felt like I just had to have it. It didn't sell for a price I thought was super expensive. It's the 97 Barry Bonds silver embossed refractor. So you can see that really cool superfractor pattern. And then you can see the embossing. The embossing actually looks, you can see it more on the back. You can see that embossing. But what do we have there? Dual-sided refractor, embossed. It's just like I said, it's a kitchen sink here of insert designs. It's just really, really cool. It's 8.5, but I don't really care about that grade because I just want to own the card. Next up is a card I really like, 96 Leaf Signature. So like the Frank Thomas autograph, very, very nice. Excited to have that card. It was definitely a card that as a kid I really, really wanted. And I finally was able to buy one. So there you go, 96 Leaf Signature, Frank Thomas bronze. And again, there's I think silver and gold versions of this as well. But this is just the base bronze. But this is a card that I saw in magazines and really, really wanted to own it back in the day. So very excited to have this card because it was just one of those cards that when I saw it for the first time, I thought, I love Frank Thomas. I really want this as a kid. Never saw it ever in the wild. And it's cool to own it now. Next up is I've been putting together, again, the Crusade set. So here are some, I don't know if you want to call them commons, but, cards that don't sell for very much money. So we've got Rondell White and from the Expo. So again, all numbered to 250. You can see around the back. And then this is a cool one. It's a pirate, so Jason Kendall. So again, you can see the two different designs, call to arms and the base. So I like this design a lot better than this design, but it's still cool to have two more Crusades to go into my set. And then last but not least, I picked up this Julio Rodriguez Heritage rookie card. Again, this is a card that I would, if I look at it, I think it could get a 10. I would sit it in on a PSA sub, special bulk rating. Next up is some more PC stuff. So we'll start with the Barry Sanders cards I picked up recently. First one is a really, really cool Barry Sanders. This is a 99 Leaf Rookies and Stars Statistical Standout. This is the die cut version. And the die cut version was numbered to the actual stat that this card was talking about. This one is numbered 69 giggity out of 76. And I feel like that is a very funny number. But, this card's numbered out of 76. My gosh, if this was a Ken Griffey Jr. or a Michael Jordan card, this card would be, at least $500 or $1,000. So this card is, I feel I got it at a really good deal. Very excited to pick it up. And I think it's such a cool looking card. So, again, I feel like it's very undervalued. You can see it doesn't have the eBay authentication, so I didn't even qualify from a price standpoint to even be authenticated. It didn't meet that price criteria. Next up is a card that does fit with another card I own, which is the 97 Finest Refractor Gold. And again, here's the 96, and then here's your 97. So you can see that Topps did change that design tremendously between 96 and 97. But these are both the gold versions of their cards. And again, double-sided refractors. And you can see where it does say rare. There you go. So that's the gold. This is not the embossed or the embossed refractor. This is just the regular gold refractor. Still a very desirable and collectible card, and people love refractors. So it's not a card that you see come up that often, but it's very popular, I would say. And then last but not least, one of my favorite insert designs of all time, the exclamation points for 1998 Fleur Ultra. Man, these cards just pop. They're acetate, so you can see behind them. They've got this question mark dot design. It's just really cool looking card. They really pop when you get them in the right lighting. They were, I think, 1 in 288. They were one of the really rare. They're the hardest, I think, insert set to get this year. And then there's a Peyton Manning rookie card in here as well, which I think is super undervalued. So I'm really looking to maybe just put this whole set together because I just love how this set looks. But here is the Barry Sanders exclamation point. I'm very excited about this card. It's because I've never actually owned this card. I never even owned any cards from the set, so just to be able to get the Barry Sanders, I was super pumped, and I'm glad I was able to win this because it's a card that is pretty popular amongst the Barry Sanders collectors. Other cards from football, so again, Donner's Crusade, Antonio Freeman. So as I put together the 98 Crusade set, I am also doing the football set. So you've seen I picked up the Barry Sanders. I own the purple and the green Barry Sanders. So I'm going to put together the base green set. And there we go, Antonio Freeman. 198 at 250. The one thing I did notice, so when I was going through these cards, that was interesting to me was, is that the color foil stamping is different between football and baseball. So here's football, or here's baseball, then here's football. You can see one of them is gold and one of them is black. You see that? I find that very interesting that they changed the type of foil for their stamping. I don't know why. And you can tell it looks actually very different between the football and the baseball. So that was just an interesting fact. I don't know if it means anything, but I just thought it was interesting. Next up is a Fred Taylor rookie card. So this guy was a stud. I just felt like, I want to have as many cool refractors from the 90s as I can get. This one was super cheap. I think I paid $20 or $30 for it, So it didn't cost much. It's fun because I wanted to get, I definitely want to get the Randy Moss at some point. But I've got the Peyton Manning now. So getting the Fred Taylor. I think I have the Dan Marino from the set. So I've got a few of the stars as well. So just picking up the stars and rookie from the set, it's really the first. It's such an important set. With Peyton and Randy Moss. I like having the stars as well, and they're the good rookies. So I picked that up because it was a little cheap. Next up is a rookie card, Josh Allen. So here is a 9/5. This is the red and yellow prism. In the Buffalo area. I want to have I talked about with some of these rookies, I just want to get one really good card of them. I don't know if this is it for Josh Allen, but this is definitely a good card. So until I get a better one, I'll keep this one. And if I find an autograph rookie or something better for Josh Allen, I'll keep that one. But, to fit in the PC. But this is a really nice card. It's a 9/5. I feel like it is a card that I like because in the area, Josh Allen is super popular. So I shouldn't have any issue if I wanted to sell it or trade it in the future. And the last but not least, for the vintage football, here we go, the one card I picked up. 67 Fran Tarkenton. I own this card. I believe in an 8 as well. So it just came up, and I will get double sometimes if I think the pricing is good. I love this set. It's 91 Flair, but it looks cool. I like the yellow borders. I like that they did a lot of cool stuff. They did the rub off. So again, the car companies kind of emulating each other. The same thing Topps did in the 60s as well. But this card is very well centered, in my opinion, and presents very nicely for a 7. So 67 Philadelphia Fran Tarkenton. Now, last but not least is my Ken Griffey Jr. collection. So I'll start with some of the easier inserts. So here is Superstar Summit. So this is, I think, from 2000. So it is showing him as a red, but it's just a very shiny card from Griffey. Let's see what year it is. Yeah, sometimes you can see the year, sometimes you can't. But, it's early 2000s, Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck insert. There you go. Just a shiny foil card. Next up is a couple cards that go together. So I bought these all from the same dealer. So these are the Spellbound out of Pinnacle. I believe these are 98 Pinnacle cards. And so you can see they, I think it spells junior. So, this is the J-O-R. So I got Jor. But here's the 3. So the cool thing about them is they got that little shiny, similar to Dufax type material. Every card has different, photo. So you get some really cool photographs here. And, it spells, his name. And just a cool little insert. These cards do not cost that much. For as cool as they look. There's gold foil on them. They're very nice cards, but not very expensive. And so to me, this is a fun thing for Griffey is that, they're cool looking cards, and here's the back. Without a lot of money, the Spellbound cards are very cool. Next up is a card that I won, and actually the dealer canceled the transaction on me, so then I won another card. This is the Big Boppers from Upper Deck and Retro. So these are cool because they're numbered. They go out of 500. And so sometimes numbered out of 500 cards can bring $300 to $400 for Griffey, and sometimes they bring $40. So this is closer to the $40 version of a card. Now I have it in the original holder. So you can see how scuffed up and scratched up this holder is. I normally, before my videos, I do, try to get them in new holders. For this one, I did not. So it'll look a lot nicer because you see a big scratch right there. I think it'll look a lot nicer when I put it in a fresh One Touch in a bag. And I think it'll look a lot nicer. That's how it's going to look like when it goes into the old PC. Next up is 95 Topps Traded Ken Griffey Jr. Power Booster. I think it's just one of those really nice looking cards. It's not expensive. It's not anything super special. But in the right light, these cards look really amazing. And it's just, the thing I like about 90s cards is that you can get an amazing looking card that really costs no money for a player like Griffey. And this is a mint 9. So they're foily, so they're a little harder to grade than normal, but that was a cool card. Next up is the 99 Flair Showcase, row 3. So these are numbered out of 1500. Sweet. Look at that. Super foily, 3 different photos. I thought these cards were the bee's knees when they came out in the 90s. I was super into this set. I really was. Now, I didn't have a lot of money, so it was expensive at the time to buy this product, even back then. But I just liked the fact that, these cards were all numbered. You had numbered out of 100 cards, and they just so many cool looking versions or variations of these cards, the different rows. It was just a cool idea, and I think they executed really well. These cards are really, really nice. I'll show you the back. So, 9-0, so it's nice grade. There you go. King Griffey Jr. Row 3, 1999 Flair Showcase. One of the cooler sets that came out in the 90s. Now, an insert from that card set was this. Here we go. This is the King Griffey Jr. 99 Flair Showcase Measure of Greatness insert set. And again, this is numbered out of 500. This set sells for a lot more than the Big Boppers retro set sells for sure. Both out of 500, but this is out of Flair Showcase, so one of the insert sets that came out of there. See the back here. Very, very cool looking insert set. I've never owned this card ever. So, and it's a nice grade, 9.5. Just one of those really cool inserts that people kind of, doesn't hype this insert. You don't see a lot of hype for this insert, but it's, it's one that does sell really well on the open market. Couple $100 raw sometimes. I've seen it sell for $150, $200, and then graded and high grade, it can sell for pretty good money. So nice card. And again, came from the same set that this came out of. So 2 Griffey cards, same set, sort of kind of a base card versus the insert card. So the cool thing about this set was they just put a lot of effort into it. From these cards, which are, pretty much base cards, to the insert sets, you can tell they really did a good job on designing this set. So that's why, it's still to this day, those boxes are very expensive. And then last but not least will be a few cards here. My one lone hockey card, the Red Dazzlers, Connor McDavid. I have a lot of the Dazzlers from other products. So I just wanted to maybe do the rainbow. It's a super cheap rainbow if you want to do it. So, so I'm just picking up the different colors. And then I picked up 2 DC Bombshell Mitch Ballard sketches, one Superman and one Batman. What I love about this is that Mitch Ballard is one of the cooler artists that does sketch cards. And sometimes his sketch cards can go for pretty good money. But his DC cards don't really sell that well. And the fact that these are men versus women, these were actually very cheap compared to what you would, if these were Starfire or Catwoman or someone that Mitch Ballard drew in a really nice way, they would definitely be a lot more money than these 2 cards were. But getting Batman and Superman in a Mitch Ballard sketch was awesome. His big thing is the pastel color palette. He works in that pastel color range. So that's a very Mitch Ballard trait. But, these are nice looking sketches and they're Mitch Ballard. So I'm going to put it in the PC. So there it is, guys. That is my mail day. This is a pretty big mail day. First big mail day of 2023. Several PC items I picked up along the way this time around. I will be doing a comic book update at some point, showcasing a lot of the cool books I've been picking up as well. But I will separate those 2 into different videos. I think combining the 2 isn't really great for my channel because a lot of people don't like the mixed collectible content. So here's all the PC pickups and the mail day for sports cards. I'll do comic books in a different video. And let me know in the comments what you liked the most and what what card or what type of collection that you enjoy seeing me collect the most. And I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.